Hey everyone, Danny here today to talk to you about a short but really good audiobook. So good, in fact, that I've listened to it twice in the last 2 weeks. Before I get to that, though, I have a favor to ask. If, like me, you love audiobooks, do me a favor, please. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on notifications. Join me in my audiobook journey. Now, the title of this book is The Dispatcher, written by John Scalzi. I apologize if I mispronounced your last name there. I'm battling allergies, so I'm going to have to take occasional sips of water here to keep from having major coughing fits. I apologize for that as well. There were several reasons why I found this book so incredibly enjoyable. First, let's set the premise for it. So, you have a world, and it's no different than the world that we live in now, except for one small fact. All of a sudden, 999 out of every 1,000 people who are murdered or who are intentionally killed come back. They don't actually die. They're reset, is the term they use in the book. And it's had this major effect on society. One of the effects is you have people called dispatchers. That is their job. They're licensed, they're bonded killers. They work in a hospital. Someone gets into an automobile accident, they're rushed to the hospital. The hospital realizes, hey, we're not going to be able to save this person's life. Now, if we just let them expire, they're going to legitimately die. But we can have our dispatcher over here come dispatch the person, and they take and I'm trying to think of what I can't remember what they call the tool that they use, but basically what they do is they shoot a small explosive charge through the roof of the mouth into the brain, set it off, and kill them by setting off an explosion in their brain. Then, the hope is that they'll reset, and there's, 999 out of 1,000 are the odds that they will reset. They will reappear at home, probably on their bed, probably naked. Well, they'll be naked because their clothes don't reset with them, just they reset. And you can do the same thing with surgical procedures. You can do the same thing with all sorts of different things, because when they reset, they don't reset to the way they were just before they died. They reset to the way they were anywhere from like 12 to 48 hours prior to it. So you've got dueling clubs, or they're not clubs, actually. It's become a thing now for people to get offended and to have actual duels. And they'll have a dispatcher on hand, and they can fight. And if one of them manages to kill the other, no problem, that person will reset. And if they survive, but they're too badly injured, then the dispatcher can go ahead and dispatch them both, and they reset. It's illegal, but it's a thing. You can have these clubs where, people beat each other with bats. Just society has changed. Murder now is almost impossible. As you discover in the book, it's not impossible. Another reason that I really like this book, it is the character of the book. Tony Valdez is his name. He's the dispatcher in the book. And we meet Tony as he's getting ready to go in to watch a risky surgical procedure. And he's there in case things go south. Excuse me. With a surgical procedure, and you have this very arrogant, rude, obnoxious surgeon. And John is very calm, very cool, very collected, very professional about the whole thing. He comes out. There's the police that are waiting for him. Come to find out, another dispatcher who he's acquaintances with, who was supposed to be there, he's filling in for this other dispatcher, has disappeared. His house has been ransacked, there's blood, but he himself is gone. And the detective wants Tony to help him out. Now, as things evolve in the book, you begin to realize very quickly that dispatchers are looked down upon in society. Most people don't understand them. Most people view them as just heartless killers, people who get their jollies off of killing. Why else would you take a job as a dispatcher? But the thing I like about John, as is revealed time and time again, he views his job as a necessity. He's there to save people's lives. Sure, there's that 1 in 1,000 chance that the person won't reset, but the person's going to die anyhow. So why not roll the dice and save their life? He's had over 1,000 dispatches, and 100% of them have reset. When people question him, when they talk to him, he tends to remain calm, cool, and collected. The narrator was an excellent choice for a narrator. The narrator is able to bring out a lot of emotion in his voice and in his delivery. And he's also able to come across as calm, cool, and collected, the way that Tony comes across when he's in this situation where he needs to be that way. As far as mature content goes, there's some foul language, and that is it for the mature content, is just some foul language. There is some violence. I mean, Tony gets murdered in the book, so there is some violence, but none of it is excessive or graphic. It's very minimal, actually, for the subject matter of the book. It's kind of a minimal bit of violence to my way of thinking. It's a fascinating world with a really well-developed, really likable character. And then detective that he's working with dislikes him in the beginning of the book. But by the end, by the time they've rescued his friend, he's bonded with this detective, and she likes him, and they're friends. And furthermore, she's come to realize that he is correct in his assessment of what his job is. He is actually saving people's lives. He's not just getting his jollies off of killing people. It's a fun, fascinating, thoroughly enjoyable listen. I got it as a fill-in. I actually wasn't going to do a review on the book. I don't like doing reviews on books that are too terribly short, just because as a truck driver, I tend to prefer longer books because I spend, 10, 11 hours a day listening to the book. I want to get my money's worth out of the book. I got it so it would be a fill-in. If I finished a book and, I was within like 3 hours of being home, rather than start another book, I could just listen to this book to fill in the time. And I listened to it a couple of weeks ago, and I kept thinking about, how to do a review on this book. It's such a good book. You know what? I'm going to listen to the beginning of it, listen to the end of it to kind of refresh myself on it, and then do a review on it. Ended up, for the second time in 2 weeks, unable to put the book down, listen to it all the way through. It is an amazing, amazing book. If you like my video, hit the like button. If you like my channel, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you have any questions, comments, feedback, book recommendations, please put them in the comments. But most importantly, no matter what else you do today, make sure that today you listen to at least one really good audiobook. And I highly, highly recommend The Dispatcher by John Scalzi. Once again, I apologize if I mispronounced the name.